actually do know better. We've been there, Bart. And the one thing that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have that other teams don't is Tom Brady. Is a guy that understands running it back. And all last offseason, that's all we heard from the Kansas City Chiefs. You haven't heard that from Tom Brady. You haven't heard that from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, but they've been working toward it. That's why everybody said, you know what? Let's go back to Tampa Bay. Even some of the guys that are on the auxiliary, not necessarily the starters, the Antonio Browns. You go out, you pick up Giovanni Bernard, and Tom Brady already setting the tone that, you know what, guys, what we're getting today is not what it's about. It's about the next ring. The only way to focus on the next ring is to come back and do the job. And so, no, it won't be the Rams. No, it won't be the Green Bay Packers because they ain't got no quarterback. It's not going to be the Saints because Drew Brees is retired and they couldn't do it when he was there anyway. It's going to be the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And as long as their quarterback is Tom Brady, the dude that said in the offseason, I tried to holler at y'all and y'all didn't want to give me no run. I saw you walking down the street. I asked for your number and you told me you already had a man. Well, guess what? When they chose me, I got the ring, and getting the ring is what it's about. And I expect the Tampa Bay Buccaneers to be right there again.
Ooh, man, Ryan Clark, it hurts me to go against you, man, as a former champion, and the way that you dive into your bag when it comes down to breaking down the game of football. You know I love you to death, but right now I got to give you one of those Southern quotes. God bless his heart. He don't know no better, baby. Because I'm rolling with the Tennessee Titans. I'm rolling with the Titans. I do not think the Buccaneers are going to repeat this year.
What you talking about?
I'm rolling with the Tennessee Titans. You know why? And here it is, right? We look at this Tennessee Titans offense. You look at Brown at the receiving core along with Julio Jones. Tell me one better dynamic duo that's going to be able to stop them. And then we talk about that monster coming out of the backfield who you have to load 8 in the box on. Tannehill is a what? He's a Pro Bowler quarterback. This Tennessee Titan team is ready. They could put up points with the best of them. They're going to run the scoreboard up. Their defensive-minded coach, I know they lacked last year as far as the defensive side of things, but he's going to have them ready. He's going to have them ready defensively. I thought offensively they got better by adding Julio Jones. I'm rolling with the Tennessee Titans to win the Super Bowl this year.
Perk, you my dog, Perk, you my dog, and you have been on a roll. Your prediction has been on point. I'm talking about when it came to the NBA, I was like, man, y'all need to listen to Perk. Perk is not missing. I'm gonna be honest. Right now, you shooting like Giannis was shooting before the finals from the free throw line. That ain't it. The Tennessee Titans have nothing on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Now, you got to think about the Tennessee Titans having to beat the Kansas City Chiefs. Think about the Tennessee Titans having to beat the Buffalo Bills. The Cleveland Browns, who probably have a better roster top to bottom. There is no team in the NFL more uniquely positioned to win the Super Bowl than the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Because we also have to think about it, Bart. Think about it, Kendrick. This team didn't start playing its best ball until the playoffs. We didn't see the best Buccaneers team in the regular season. Now they start out with their confidence. They start out with an understanding of who they are. And they start out knowing that they're the best team in football. And they get to go prove it every single week. It's the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and nobody else. It's Bucks on Bucks on Bucks. The Bucks won it first. The Milwaukee Bucks won it second. And the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are going to come back and start that cycle all over again.
How motivated really are they, right? I'm telling you, these guys are fat. If you go out there and you think about the Rams and what Matthew Stafford being in football purgatory, being in prison, locked up, no organization has ever ruined more Hall of Fame players than the Detroit Lions. You know how it is when everything is hard, and then you go all the way over there to the sunshine. You got that Detroit, right? So I've seen him ruin Barry Sanders. I've seen him ruin Calvin Johnson. Now this guy got his freedom papers. Give us free, and they gave it to him because they knew they had neglected him. Now he's out there with the the number one defense in the league last year. You saw the recipe of how to slow down the team, right? Get after the quarterback. Get after a guy that's going to be a sitting duck in the pocket with Aaron Donald with inside pressure. Also having the lockdown corner in Ramsey, but also being able to have a quarterback that has football acumen. They got rid of Jared Goff because he wasn't smart enough to be utilized by McVay. McVay has been gushing about how great Matthew Stafford is. He's going to light it up. They have everything they need, and I know it's always about health. And when you're a team that's so top heavy, you don't have the depth. But if this team can stay healthy, I think they should be the favorite.
But they're not healthy. We already saw Cam Akers go down.
Well, running backs are interchangeable. Running back.
Let me stop for 1 second. All right, Bart Scott, I know you're a big deal. RC, I know you got the ring, but tell me this. When we're talking about a quarterback, I get he's a veteran. In a new system, it helps. You can hand it off to your leading rusher. Yeah. He's not there.
But they had it's plenty of options. Running back is the easiest transition, to an offense, right? And there's plenty of guys out there. There's going to be some guys available. You got Leigh Bell out there. You got Shady McCoy that's going to be available. You can make some trades. You can always find a good running back.
Mm-hmm. RC, get in on this.
Listen.
Go ahead, Perk. You got it.
Okay, go ahead, RC. This is crazy coming from Bart Scott right now for the simple fact that right? You know that the football game is won where? In the trenches. Mm-hmm. And for you to sit up here and downplay the running back position is very disturbing to me. This is one of the main reasons why I'm picking the Tennessee Titans, because you have a guy like Derrick Henry when they have to put 8 in the box and you still can't stop the man. He still rushes for 2,000 yards in a season, and then you add that receiving core. I'm looking at this Tennessee Titans offense, and I'm like, how are you going to stop them?
You got to stop somebody.
Hey, listen, let me ask you something. What happens if the Tennessee Titans keep the defense on the field the entire game? Don't the defense get worn down? I listen to you guys talk about the defensive side of things. I listen to you guys talk about possession, time of possession. Who had the most time? What offense had the ball the most? You look at the Tennessee Titans, I'm thinking at it like, hey, we could play our game. We could pound you and win at the line of scrimmage.
Hey guys, all this sounds good, right? Mm-hmm. And I hear Bart Scott talking about quarterback play and a head coach gushing over a quarterback. And then I listen to Kendrick Perkins and he's talking about running. And then Bart Scott's talking about stopping people. Man, y'all know who got a quarterback that head coaches gush over? The Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Mm-hmm. Y'all know who had a running back who truly controlled the Super Bowl? The Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Bart Scott, do you know a team that had a defense that went absolutely crazy in the playoffs? The Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So while you guys are just nitpicking at these teams, this is good about the Rams. This is good about the Tennessee Titans. Let me tell you something about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, guys. Everything is good. There's no place to critique.
Yeah.
Maybe you could say you don't like the colors, but they about to run it back. And when we all reconvene here, and then Max and Steven, they decide to take a day off again, and they bring us back, I'm going to say I told you so. And Bart, this is why I have a ring.
Bart, you have to admit, it's unreal that they returned all 22 starters from the Super Bowl. That never happens.
No, that is true. But listen, when is the last time a team repeated in the NFL? It doesn't happen.
I don't know.
Right?
Tom Brady and the Patriots?
Yeah, what was that?
He's done it before.
That was 20 years ago.
That guy.
This is a different era. And I tell you what, man, I'm telling you, I think that the Rams, and to Kendrick, talking about Kendrick, man, big backs fall off quick. Right, he's taking a lot of hits, man. That's a lot of surface area. We watched Brandon Jacobs. We watched Eddie George fall off a cliff. It's not gradual. It's overnight.
All right. So RC has the Bucks running it back. Kendrick has the Tennessee Titans, and Bart Scott has the Rams. No love for the Chiefs. Just want to make sure I get that all on the record, gentlemen. I'm keeping all these receipts. Let's go to Aaron Rodgers now. He showed some love to the Bucks. No, not those Bucks. Posting this on Twitter saying, incredible job by Wes and Mark, Peter, John. Bucks. No, not those Bucks. Posting this on Twitter saying, incredible job by Wes and Mark, Peter, John. Incredible moves, and our stars played like stars. Can't stop 34 #champ. So the multi-million-dollar question, will he stay, will he go, or will he sit? Wait till you hear what Rodgers' former teammate, DeMarco Finley, predicted last night on Freddie and Fitzsimmons.
The Rodgers I know and the character I know, I think he's gonna is not going to play. He's a very interesting cat. You know what I mean? He's a very hard guy to read, if you want to say.
Right. What do you think? Aaron Rodgers sits out the season?
Absolutely. Aaron Rodgers ain't playing. Aaron Rodgers, you know what? I'm going to take that back. Because pettiness has levels, Molly. You know what I mean?
It does.
Like there's the pettiness level, right? You feel me? So there's the pettiness level of Aaron Rodgers saying, you know what? I don't want to come here and play really well and allow you to win a championship, right? Because then Brian Gutekunst could say, you know what? I put this team together and we won. We don't want that. But what Aaron Rodgers could do is sit at home for 3, maybe 4 games. Maybe it only takes even 2. And the Green Bay Packers are trash. I mean, like, hot garbage, can't win. Jordan Love not playing well. And then he might say, oh, you know what might be better than not playing and the Green Bay Packers being terrible is the Green Bay Packers being terrible when I don't play and then me coming back and saving the day. And that's what every Green Bay Packer fan better hopes happens. Because if Aaron Rodgers decides that, even with being able to come and be the hero, I hate the executives at Green Bay so much that I don't want them to have any good in their lives. And, you know, Kendrick's been in relationships in his life. Bart's been in relationships. Molly, you've been in relationships. Sometimes it's not about you winning, right? It's about the person that has scorned you and hurt you losing. And if Aaron Rodgers just feels so deeply in his heart that he wants the Green Bay Packers and the executives to lose, then he might just stay home forever. And if Aaron Rodgers does that, if Aaron Rodgers proves that point, he's going to go down as the real, true GOAT. That man is going to sacrifice football for his feelings. And y'all know emotions and feelings eliminate all logic and rationale. And
I thought you were a Christian, Ryan. Come on.
Aaron Rodgers is going to be Molly. Hey, and you know what, Molly? They talk bad about Jesus. They talk bad about Jesus, Molly. And so I'm just going to tell you the truth. Like Kendrick Perkins gave us a saying. My daddy tell me something all the time. I'm just telling you what God loves, because God loves the truth. Aaron Rodgers is going to be at home with all of us week 1 watching the Green Bay Packers.
Listen, if Aaron Rodgers gives up football because he has a feud, then he's not going to be the first GOAT. He's going to be behind Barry Sanders, because we watched Barry Sanders do it as well, never come back in the midst of a great career. But listen, Aaron Rodgers, to me, looks like a guy that needs an opponent. And I don't know if Pat Sajak is good enough to give him that feeling for competing. So I definitely see him coming back, right? And because he understands that he has to write a big check if he doesn't come back. Right, so I think that he's going to come back maybe week 1 or week 2 after he sees what Jordan Love's going to do, because he wants to be able to get his freedom papers. And for him to get his freedom papers, he has to come back and play, because if he doesn't fulfill his obligations in his contract, they're going to still hold his rights. And they're just petty enough to dig in as well if he doesn't come back.
Well, boy, look. The writing is on the wall. You could tell in Aaron Rodgers' body language that he's content. He's happy where he is. And you know what's the crazy part? Even though he's not winning championships on the football field, guess what? He just won a championship with the Buccaneers, because he's part owner of the Milwaukee Bucks. He just won a championship with them. Right now, look, I see no desire. I see with Aaron Rodgers, he has no desire of coming back. I don't even know if he even cares about playing football at the moment, to be honest with you. He is living his best life. When you turn down that type of money, it's not about the money no more. When you quit communicating with the front office and the organization, it's not about the team getting better no more. It's about Aaron Rodgers and how he feels, right? We got to know that although we look at Tom Brady and we look at him being up in age and still getting it done, his passion, his love for the game, we have to start asking questions. Hey, where's Aaron Rodgers at in his career? Do he still love the game of football? Do he still want to be a part of the game of football? Every one of us have came to that point in our career in sports, whether it's basketball, football, where it comes towards the end and you kind of start losing that love. You start to losing that feeling of wanting to be out there. And I'm watching Aaron Rodgers with his leg crossed at the game, sitting courtside, drinking on his Ciroc or whatever he may be drinking, tequila. I don't know. They chugging beers or whatever. He just won a championship ring. He's still winning in Wisconsin.
See, but I think
Aaron Rodgers is having a great time. He's having a great time, Bart. This man is truly enjoying his life. Aaron Rodgers said publicly, "I'm enjoying doing nothing."
No, Ryan, no, I need to call a timeout on that, because there's been times in my life you feel like you need a vacation so bad. I need a vacation so bad. I love it. No makeup. I'm hanging out, sleeping in late, working out. I'm like, oh, this is great. I love this. Maybe I just shouldn't work. And then, a week goes by, and then it's like a week and a half, and I'm like, you know what? I need to get back to work, because certain people are just built that way. And Aaron Rodgers is built that way too. It's only fun to hang out for so long.
Hey guys, what I know about
You don't become an MVP that way.
What I know about Aaron Rodgers is when I saw him in the pictures in the jungle, he wasn't built like a guy that's been working out to play quarterback. That's what I know he's not built like, Molly. And we're going to talk about people being built certain ways, okay?
You won on that. I know you train athletes and stuff. It's fine.
But you know how it is. That it starts to come. Listen, most veteran players don't want to go to minicamp. They don't want to go to OTAs. Who wants to hang out on the weekends and spend your offseason in Green Bay to begin with? So he's living his best life, but at some point he's going to want to come back and play football. He's a former MVP. He only has one title. He wants to be able to put himself in rarefied air. For him to go down as one of the greats, this is a guy that's obsessed with being great. This is a guy that's petty. This is a guy that has been motivated by the fact that he fell in the draft, and he wants to he wants to prove everybody wrong. And for him to stick it in the face of Green Bay, he has to move on and win another title. To do that, he may have to come back and satisfy the Green Bay Packers and say, okay, listen, let me go if I give you one more season. Trade me to where I want to go so that I can rub it in your face, and I can pull me a Tom Brady, I can pull me a Peyton Manning, and I can go down a rarefied air so I can for him to get on that Mount Rushmore of great quarterbacks. You can't have only one Super Bowl on your resume, right? Eli Manning has two. Ben Roethlisberger has two. He has to make sure that he puts himself in rarefied air. He has to have multiple championships to put himself up there with Peyton Manning and Tom Brady.
Yeah, but listen to this. Listen to this. Every athlete is not the same. Like, we looking at Tom Brady, and he wants to be the GOAT. He may not say it, but he wants to be the GOAT. We're not going to downplay Aaron Rodgers won Super Bowl. That might be enough for him. And still in all, we still going to talk about Aaron Rodgers as being one of the greatest quarterbacks to ever touch the pigskin. Whether he's ranked top 20 or whatever the case may be, he still left his imprint on this game, his fingerprints on this game. So for the simple fact, this is the problem. Nobody knows what Aaron Rodgers is thinking because he locks out the outside world. So we don't know how he's feeling. We heard Russell Westbrook comment to the great Stephen A. and say, like, when it comes down to me, I am a champion. Winning the championship don't mean that much to me like it do to other people. I'm a champion in life. I'm a champion in what I do outside of basketball. But when I get in between these lines, I'm going to punch in the clock and let the chips fall where they may. So everyone's thought process is different, boy.
Man, that's what losers do.
Bottom line is this. The bottom line is this. The reason we're still talking about this, the reason we're trying to figure this out is because this is as personal as any feud has ever been between a player and his team. And because it's personal, none of us can predict what Aaron Rodgers is going to do. They offered to make him the highest paid player in history, and he said no. Ooh. When money can't move a man, you don't know what'll move him. And so we just have to sit back and wait.
I don't know. It might be when the leaves start to turn and the pumpkin spice lattes, the weather gets a little cold. The Sundays, you're sitting home watching games, and you want to be out there. All right, we'll leave it there, guys. Plenty more to come here on First Take. Coming up, Cardinals wide receiver DeAndre Hopkins sounding off on the new COVID policy rules. We have those for you. Will the idea of forfeiting games be a positive or negative for the league moving forward? We got all the details. We have breaking news into First Take this morning. We have a name change. Known as the Indians since 1915, Cleveland's Major League Baseball team will be called the Guardians. Starting next season, the ball club announced the name change on Twitter, ending months of internal discussions triggered by a national reckoning by institutions and teams to permanently drop logos and names considered racist. We'll have much more coming up on SportsCenter. The NFL has added an additional COVID-19 vaccination incentive for players. threatening forfeits and the loss of game checks if an outbreak among unvaccinated players causes an unresolvable disruption in the regular season schedule. The league has encouraged vaccination for players, but has not required it per an agreement with the NFLPA. As of Thursday, more than 75% of NFL players were at least partially vaccinated, and 16 of the 32 teams have reached the 85% threshold for vaccination. So the NFL said a forfeit will be declared for a postponed game that can't be rescheduled within the 18-week framework of the season. It is caused by an outbreak among unvaccinated players of one team. In addition, if a forfeit occurs, players on both teams would lose their game checks. Ezekiel Elliott has some thoughts on this.
You said game checks?
Yeah.
I mean, you just told me something new, but like I said, it's everyone's body. You got to respect that. You can't just, a check is only monetary. You know what I mean? So, you can't put a price on someone's health or, what they think will make them feel good or not make them feel good. So, that's, like I said, you're kind of walking the tight line.
Okay, Cardinals wide receiver DeAndre Hopkins deleted a tweet Thursday afternoon shortly after posting it that said this: "Never thought I would say this, but being put in a position to hurt my team because I don't want to partake in the vaccine is making me question my future in the NFL." Ryan, should the NFL forfeit games?
I don't necessarily know if the NFL should forfeit games, because now we're putting the entire team, the entire organization, actually the entire league at risk of an unfair advantage, or putting them in a position to where you lose what changes your career based on a vaccination, based on people's personal beliefs. And so I don't think that they should forfeit games for that. I don't think that they should necessarily forfeit a whole team's checks, right? A whole team's game checks because a certain amount of players don't want to get vaccinated. I also believe that this isn't necessarily a true play for player safety in the NFL. I believe this is about perception, much like many player safety rules and much like many things that the NFL puts out at the forefront of the media, at the forefront of the public to see, right? So now, if it ever comes down that someone feels that COVID affected their career or affected their lives in a manner that they don't feel is beneficiary going forward, you know what they get to say? The NFL gets to say, "I did everything I possibly could to make sure that my guys were taken care of. We put every mandate in place that we possibly could, but the NFLPA would not allow us to make this mandatory that people get their shot. So if you feel a certain way, you can't sue us. If you feel a certain way, you can't come back and say the NFL didn't do everything they could possibly do." This isn't truly about fair advantage, or this truly isn't about equality. This truly isn't about player safety. This is about perception. This is about the way the Shield looks. This is about not being able to come back and take any money from the Shield in the future. So whether or not you can appeal to players' selfishness, you can appeal to players' compassion, or you can appeal to players' greed, I don't know, because that's what they're trying to do. But what they're doing mostly is CYA. They're trying to cover their own butts.
Yeah, I think you're thinking too hard about this. This isn't about the future, Ryan. This is about the present, right? This is about the bag. It's all about money. So they're saying, the NFL is saying, hey, if you're going to cost me, money from my TV partners, then it's coming out of your check. It's coming out of both teams' check, right? Because if I can't fulfill and provide certainty for the TV or for the gamblers or all the partnerships that the NFL has, then I'm not paying for it. It's coming for y'all. And listen, the NFL is always about voluntary but mandatory. We understand what that's all about. And they understand that. They try to say, okay, they try to make the rules so tough for people that wasn't vaccinated. You couldn't do this. You couldn't do that. If you wasn't 85%, you had to walk around like under last year's protocols. That didn't work. So now what we're going to do, we're going to come after your bag, and we're going to pit each other against each other. You heard Zeke say, well, hold on, a game check. Then he tried to take it back. Not everybody in that locker room is created equal. It's a big difference between what Patrick Mahomes get paid on a weekly basis opposed to what that walk-on or that free agent is getting paid, right? If you costing me $1 million, probably $2-3 million, what Mahomes makes every week, I got a problem with you. So now we need to talk. I think what the NFL is going to have to do, because they made this decision, and it seemed like it came out of nowhere. I think they need to open up the period in which players can opt out for COVID. It just passed, right? We're all on Aaron Rodgers' watch to see if he was going to save his $18 million if he opted out. That didn't work. So I think they should open it back up for players like DeAndre Hopkins that say, hey, I still am convicted and don't want to take the shot, because you got to give teams and organizations opportunities to go out there and try and find his replacement and know who they have and provide certainty for their team as well. So, it's a lot of things that needs to be addressed.
But even with that, Bart, I do think what the NFL is doing, even though I believe everything I said in the beginning, and that it is about the bag right now, but you got a choice. Like, you still have a choice. And you have the choice to say, you know what? Yes, you do. You have the choice to say, you know what? I do still want to play. Right. And it's three things that have to happen in order for everybody to lose their money. And the NFL is going to be obligated. The NFL is going to be incentivized to do the best they can to reschedule these games. Right. They're also going to have to track where all of these positive tests started. And so if I'm a player, I say, you know what? I want to play. If my convictions are such that I don't even feel like a vaccination is enough, or I care enough about a vaccination, I believe in the vaccination enough to save my own family, right? I don't feel like that saves my own family. Why would I have the compassion for these men in the locker room to try to save them or to try to save their money? That's not going to change that, right? So you appeal to the greed. You appeal to the greed of the individual player and say, you know what? I'm not going to lose a game check because I'm not vaccinated. And outside of that, you appeal to the greed of the other people in the locker room to say, look, bro, I'm not going to lose a game check for you. So to get them to put the pressure on you, but they still have a choice. Those men can stand in their convictions. All they have to realize is and accept is, because of my convictions, there may be consequences. There may be something that says, you know what? I can't play. I can't get my money. We don't get our money. And if the NFL understands that, if the player understands that, then let's move on and play ball. But I think the NFL says, you know what? Let's make it seem that we at least care about these players more than we care about the game. And you and I both know this is about the game because the game gives them money.
Exactly. I mean, I think we're saying the same thing, but we're just saying it in a different way. It's definitely about the bag, and they couldn't apply the pressure by making, the conditions, if you weren't vaccinated, hard enough for them. So now what they say, we're going to go towards the money, and they're going to go towards the teammates' money, because I can see if I'm 85%, vaccination rate, but the other 15%, and those dudes ain't dogs, those aren't players that I really depend on and need. We can replace them. We can cut them in training camp, coach. We can go talk about, hey, let's not protect them. Now, if it's a DeAndre Hopkins, that's a different story.
What about discrimination, though, Bart? What about the discrimination? Right now it starts getting to a point to where if I'm a coach, you might go tell a bubble guy, say, bro, like, I don't really know if you got this vaccination, but if you don't get it, you can be out of there. That's something that comes into play now with these mandates.
Yeah, but I mean, it's up to that team and that organization to decide. They can find a way to say why they decided to go with another player because, and the NFL is going to back them. Listen, you heard nothing from the PA, so that tells you that the PA is backing it as well. So, I mean, everybody understands this is about the bag, and they got to get this money. So I think they need to expand the opt-out period, allow these players to take a breath and say, you know what, I believe that, this isn't for me, and give them opportunity to opt out. And they're going to forfeit their salary, much like C.J. Mosley, sacrificed his $15 million annually a year, and give the teams and the organization an opportunity to find a viable replacement where it's not a competitive disadvantage because you have a lesser roster. You can try and find somebody that may not be as good as that player, but somebody that can help you fill the hole.
Mm-hmm. Complicated issue. We have now 16 NFL teams that have reached 85% vaccination or higher, so about half the league. We'll leave it there, guys. They say, don't mean a thing if you ain't got the ring. Well, Giannis claimed his first. Other superstar players, Harden, Lillard, Paul George, still trying to get to...
What, we did it, baby! We did it!
I came in, they're like, yo, you gotta be the dog. And I'm like, man, we got dogs. Like, we already got dogs. They just don't know how to be dogs.
Look at all the champagne on here, man. This is crazy.
So we gonna be dogs.
Bobby.
We got dogs, you hear me? Milwaukee, we dogs.
Hey, that looks like so much fun. Bucks living their best life. Thousands of fans lined downtown Milwaukee streets on Thursday to catch a glimpse of their beloved Bucks in a parade to celebrate the city's first NBA championship in a half century. Giannis is on cloud nine. I need all of his energy after winning his first championship in the NBA. I'll start with you here, Perk.
Molly. Molly. Hey, I swear PJ Tucker reminds me of my drunk uncle at the family reunion that just want to talk to me when he get drunk about my job. And I'm like, hey, look, I don't want to hear it no more, Uncle Poochie. I don't want to hear it, Uncle Poochie. I'm done with it. I don't want to hear it. But shine, yeah, Uncle Poochie. But shine with it, PJ. Do your thing, man.
Yeah, he was having a good time. All right, Giannis just got his big perk. Who do you think will be the next superstar that'll get their first ring, their first championship?
Well, here it is, Molly. We gotta watch how we choose and pick in this category because it's a difference between stars and superstars. And when I talk about superstars, I'm going with Aaron Donald. Aaron Donald is going to be the next superstar to finally get what he deserved and win his first Super Bowl, win his first championship. We talking about the most dominant player in the league, defensive player of the year, could possibly win MVP of the year the way that he plays on that side of the ball. And when you add Matthew Stafford, right, the only question mark that this Rams team had was at the quarterback position. They go out and acquire in the trade and get Matthew Stafford to fill that role, a guy that has the pedigree, that is a Super Bowl champ, knows what it takes at the QB position to put guys in position to be successful and also deliver that pigskin on time, on target to that receiving core that he has. And guess what? On defensive side of things, Coach Eric Henderson got that defensive line on point like Rondo. And when you look at when you do get past that defensive line, you got a one-man wrecking crew and Jalen Ramsey back there to clean it all up. So if I'm going with any superstar to win their first ring in the next 50 years, I'm going with Aaron Donald.
Listen, Perk, I like that, though. I think Kyler Murray just unfollowed you on Twitter, Instagram, and they revoked your Cardinals pass, man. What's up with that,
I didn't know he followed me from the jump.
I like that. But I'm telling you, listen, there's nobody with more pressure in all the sports to get their first chip to me than James Harden, because he came in, listen, in the offseason, he was walking around with the Sherman Klump Fat Man suit so he can get up out of Houston, and he came back to bite him in the butt when he pulled that hamstring with the hamstring helper. He understands that the big three is running out of time because now, Kyrie and KD are running into that third year where they may not be together. They got to make some decisions. You talk about turning down money and living in your convictions. The man turned down $100 million. The right to become the first $50 million man in the NBA annually. And he said, you know what, I have to go solidify my legacy. And listen, he came back over here and Kyrie told him, you're the captain now, right? He looked him in the eyes and said, you're the captain. And he showed that he can play a beautiful brand of basketball and be a facilitator. He's not just have to be a guy that can, have to control the ball and dribble out all the possession. So he's already made the necessary adjustments. They're the favorites already to win the championship. If he gets that, it's going to be a huge monkey off his back.
I'm going to tell you what, you guys do a great job on TV, man. Like, I really love this. You guys are so smart. Like, I remember when I got the email last night, I was like, ooh, that's cool. Bart chose basketball. Ooh, that's cool. Kendrick, Big Perk chose football. Yet you're both still wrong. And I see what the graphics people try to do me. They put ring up there because they know I'm about to talk about a guy that's going to win a belt. I'm about to go to a Louisiana boy in Dustin the Diamond Poirier who's going to get an opportunity to fight Charles Oliveira for the UFC championship. Dustin Poirier is now a star. This is the dude with over 30 professional fights. But you just go beat Conor McGregor 2 times. On that, you beat Justin Gaethje. You've got Max Holloway. It's a list of the who's who in the UFC, and now you get an opportunity after going to take another fight when you could have fought for the belt because you understood the money that it would put in your pocket. You understood how it would set your family up, and you go out there and you dominate Conor McGregor for the first round. You get 10-8 round over in 2 judges' cards, and then he breaks his leg, and now you get to move on to Charles the Bronx. This is going to be over 54 UFC fights between these two men. Dustin Poirier is now that dude. we talked a little bit about Aaron Rodgers. Now you heard Big Perk say, you know what? After a while, when you do something for a very long time, you just don't have the love for it anymore. Dustin Poirier had just gone out and beaten Conor McGregor twice, the most popular UFC fighter in the history of fighting. And you know what he said afterwards, y'all? He said, you know what, man? I really don't even like this junk no more. I just do it because I'm good at it. I scrap because I got hands. Have you ever heard a man say that? That I'm going to step in the octagon, I'm going to stand across another dude that is crazy enough to let me punch him in his face, but I ain't really tripping on it. I don't love it like that. But these right here, so official, I got to keep giving this gift from God to y'all. And when he gets his opportunity to step up against Charles Oliveira, he is going to be the dude that holds the belt in the air. And I believe as long as Khabib Nurmagomedov doesn't come back and fight, he's going to hold that belt for a long time. Giannis going to probably win it again. James ain't going to win it. The Rams not going to get out the NFC. So wrong and wrong. But the dude in the middle who has his own show, by the way, check out DC and RC, ESPN Plus, wherever you get your podcasts, all that there, because we on that thing.
This is where this was going. I get it.
That's what this is about.
You know what? Look, this is the only problem that I have right now with Bart's prediction, okay? And this is why I feel like I'm sitting actually in Stephen A. Smith's seat, and he's sitting in Max Kellerman's seat today, because for the simple fact he's all over the place. Now, I know I picked the Tennessee Titans to win this year's Super Bowl, but who did Bart just pick, Ryan? He picked the Rams, right? Did he not pick the Rams to win the Super Bowl this year? Did he not pick the Rams to win the Super Bowl this year? So who plays for the Rams? Who plays for the Rams is Aaron Donald, right? The Super Bowl, if the Brooklyn Nets do win a ring and do win a championship, and James Harden do get his ring like Bart is saying, what comes first this year? The Super Bowl comes before the championship. So that means Aaron Donald would actually win his ring before James Harden.
See, but the issue is, right, you got to pay attention to the question, right? You got to understand. The question was who's under the most pressure. If Aaron Donald doesn't win a championship, nobody's going to say anything about him. Like right now, James Harden is the one under the most pressure.
That was not the question. That was not the question.
Here's what I'm gonna say to both of you guys, right? And here's what I'm gonna say to both of you guys. At least Aaron Donald was close to winning a championship. He got to a Super Bowl a few years back, and Tom Brady stole that from him. James Harden, Bart, has never been close. He's just going to have to count on the best offensive player we've ever seen in the world, and KD, to get him there.
Put some respect,
Time out. Put me on camera. Can I be on camera with all of them at the same time? Okay, first of all, let's start left to right. Big Perk, I'm glad you called yourself out, because you did pull a Max Kellerman and you did flip-flop on us when you went with Aaron Donald. All right, I like your pick, because your Tennessee Titans pick was a little suspect. Now you're redeeming yourself as we get close to the second hour, but you did do the flip-flop. You called yourself out, so I'm cool with it. RC, you win best delivery, okay? I was very impressed. I started covering the UFC back in the day. I didn't even know you like it. I didn't even know you're doing something with Daniel Cormier. I appreciate it, but at the end of the day, he paused himself because he's a little nervous there. Bart, you are the winner. The only other person I would put in there is potentially Dame, if for somehow he went back to Oakland or something like that. At the end of the day, guys, come on. It's the Nets, and it's James Harden. That would be the most likely of all the scenarios right there.
Guys, that's not true. But it's actually not true. Molly, and Molly, listen. Why do people?
I love the UFC, RC, but nobody's thinking about Poirier right now.
If you go to your settings, they got
He's not even a superstar.
He's not a superstar. Listen, I appreciate your knowledge. I appreciate that you know all the guys and not just the chalk, not just the big name guys. You cannot put him in the same breath as James Harden. I'm not letting you do that.
Walk down the street and nobody even recognizes him.
On this show. Come on now, Ryan. You can plug your podcast if you want, though, one more time. I'll let you do that.
Well, listen, Molly, this is the only problem I have with your comments towards Big Perk right now. Okay, the question was, at the end, in the next 50 years, right? I didn't say that Aaron Donald was going to win this year. Right, that's what it said, right? Over the not next 50, right?
Next 50? No, I just said who's the next superstar. I didn't give it.
You got to understand the context of the question. Thank you.
You know what you're trying to do? You're trying to take that Bucks half century. I see you trying to be slick and slip it in like people. No, we're not talking about 50 years. People will be in wheelchairs by then. Oh my God. What, Ryan? You can have the last word.
I just don't like the fact that if they don't play football and if they don't play basketball, then they can't be superstars. Like this dude is a superstar, and I am just offended. He is a superstar.
No.
All right. Listen, we changed the graphic for you, Ryan. You should be happy about that. We changed it to title, right? to be more inclusive for your weak answer. Go ahead, Perk.
Wow.
Ryan, you know, Ryan, what a superstar is, right, is somebody that you just walk into their home that really has no idea about sports, and then you could sit down at their table, it's a household name, and you walk into their home and say, hey, you know who Aaron Donald is. 90% of the world know who Aaron Donald is. Then you could walk into somebody's home and say, you know who James Harden is. 90% of the world know who James Harden is. That's why before we started this conversation, I said, make sure we realize the difference of being a star and a superstar.
I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna leave it here. Okay. If you go to Brazil, if you go to Ireland, they're not going to know James Harden. They're not going to know Aaron Donald. But they're going to know Dustin Poirier because he's beaten great Brazilian fighters, and he's beaten the greatest fighter that's ever lived from Ireland.
Go to China then.
So you know
that's global.
When you go on First Take Rio, you know, you can give that answer and maybe people will like it. But right now, when you're out here in the States, I ain't gonna fly, big homie. All right, we'll leave it there, guys.
Molly, I can't believe you.
Listen, tell DC I say hi. I love that guy. All right, one is coming back from injury. The other might have the pressure of a make or break year. So who will have the better season? All right, so we heard Big Jerry say he will do anything to get a ring yesterday. Dak's back, finally paid. The Cowboys up in Oxnard, California, getting ready, training camp. Well, hopefully they weren't watching their TV yesterday when Bart Scott made this bold take.
Danny Dimes, Daniel Khaki Pants Dimes, is a better athlete than Dak Prescott. Yes, I said it. And listen, let's take him in the relay race. Danny Dimes got up to 21 miles an hour last year. Dak Prescott has to get that in a scooter. I say no lies.
I really glossed over the khaki pants. You really hit the khaki pants hard on that take right there. RC, talk to me. Who's going to have the better season, Dak or Danny Dimes? And you're speaking to a Giants fan right now, so just brace yourself.
Dak Prescott. Listen, Bart Scott says very funny things. I think he's extremely intelligent, and he knows how to make entertaining TV. That was entertaining TV. Khaki pants, I mean, we listen to Danny Dimes talk. We see him walk around. He's actually the khaki pants guy. He's the dude that looks like every fraternity guy that every time they have an event, they wear a blue sports coat and khaki pants. And yes, if athleticism was only about speed, then I can see that Danny Dimes is absolutely a faster person than Dak Prescott is. He is not a better quarterback. He's not. And that's what the game is about. The game is about quarterbacking. And at that position, Daniel is not better than Dakota. And so for that matter, we know that Dak Prescott is going to have the more impressive season. Dak Prescott's going to produce the most wins. Dak Prescott is going to have the better leadership. And in the end, what we've also seen is that even though Danny Dimes may be running 22 miles per hour, it is anybody's guess of whether or not he will still be holding on to the football. And last I checked, you can't score touchdowns. You can't throw touchdowns if you cannot hold the football. And who fumbles the football more than Daniel Jones? And in the words of the great Keith Sweat, nobody. And so no, Molly, don't get your hopes up. Bart, you stop hyping the people of New York up. There's going to be a better season for Dakota. He got his money now. He earned it. He proved it. He has weapons along the outside. The offensive line is healthy. And Ezekiel Elliott is in shape. Dak Prescott all the way. Not sure why.
The only thing I liked about that take is the slow jam reference. Who wants to go next? Is it Bart or Perk?
Right. Let me rebut just a little bit. Okay, now Dak Prescott, you said he has all the weapons. You say he's a great quarterback, but it took them to go get Amari Cooper. It takes him to have the best offensive line in football to even be put in the conversation, right? We were trying. Listen, that's why it took so long for Jerry Jones to marry Dak Prescott. Now let's go back to Danny Dimes for a second. Let's go back to Danny Dimes. Last year, Danny Dimes threw for 3,000 yards, right? With no protection. I understand he has Junior Whopper hands. He can't hold on to the football. There's nothing I can do. There's nothing I can do about that, though, right? But let's try and find his comp, right? Because he's my Josh Allen breakout player of the year this year. Josh Allen, threw for 3,000 yards, 3,089 yards before he went and got Stephon Diggs. Well, guess what Danny Dimes threw for last year, right? He threw for 3,027 yards. What did they go get him in the offseason? Kenny Galladay. They gave him a number one receiver, right? They went out and got Tony for the slot. Saquon Barkley's coming back. So now he has weapons as well. So I think he's going to be just as good as Dak Prescott, and we can expect the big leap just like Josh Allen had when they went out and got him a number one wide receiver. He's going to be able to have weapons now. He didn't have weapons before. He's going to be able to make that leap, and his comp, 6'5". Josh Allen, 6'5". They're both weigh about the same amount, and now they have the same amount of weapons. Dak Prescott at his best.
Guess what, Bart?
What you talking about, Willis?
Me and Chris Paul are the same size too. I can't dribble the basketball like him.
But you don't play basketball.
People ain't looking for me. I used to. No, I don't play no more because I wasn't as good at it.
I'm telling you what, man, Danny Dimes have all the arm strength. All he has to do is be able to hold on to the football. Listen, we can write this down, and we're going to clip this. We're going to clip this, and at the end of the year, we're going to come back. We're going to put something on the line, son.
I hope you're right. Perk?
But, Bart, what is – I'm trying to figure out what is going on today. I know today is Friday, and I know the weekend is coming near. I'm just trying to figure out what the hell is going on because, to me, this shouldn't even be a discussion. We're talking about – Jones, right? Last year, who threw 10 interceptions, only 11 touchdowns. And you talk about his 2,800
Tate as a receiver.
Before Dak Prescott got injured, he was flirting around 2,000 yards before he got injured. And then you talk about the signing of Amari Cooper. Do we understand and realize that when Dak Prescott took over, when Tony Romo left, right? Tony Romo, right, the quarterback for the Dallas Cowboys, a beloved player for the Cowboys. He forced Tony Romo to retire because he was that good. Do you understand? In 2016, when he took over, he threw for over 3,600 yards. He threw for 23 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. In 2017, his second year, he threw for 3,300 yards, 22 touchdowns, 13 interceptions. This is all before Amari Cooper. I don't understand this argument. We're not talking about athleticism. We're talking about the most important. We're talking about the
you
most
guys are prisoners of the moment, man.
You predict. I'm not prisoners of the moment. I'm not. But we're talking about the quarterback position is the most important position on the football field. It don't have nothing to do with athleticism. It has everything to do with your mindset. It's times I was watching the New York Jets and I thought Daniel Jones was throwing the ball to me, and I'm in Houston on my couch. So how can we even make this comparison right now?
He would also throw. So Bart, I'm gonna let you rebut. Bart, I have a question. Right?
Yes.
You said that Matthew Stafford is going to flourish in Los Angeles because he was in Detroit, and Detroit wastes people's career, right?
Yeah.
That's what you said.
Yeah, that's what I said.
But now you're also saying that a wide receiver that was from Detroit, that was actually in Detroit when they were wasting Matthew Stafford's career, is now going to save Daniel Jones' career. Is that what you're telling me?
I'm telling you that Kenny Galladay. I'm trying to tell you that Kenny Galladay is a baller. That he has a huge catch radius. He gives them something that they didn't have. And listen, we were talking about Dak Prescott all last year to see was he elite. Like it took Dallas all the way to this year to make sure that they paid him and bought into him long term. So you mean to tell me? Tell me before Josh Allen had his breakout season, before he got Stephon Diggs, how many of you guys would have considered him better than Dak Prescott? I think we can make an argument that Josh Allen is a better quarterback than Dak Prescott too. I'll put him above Dak Prescott as well.
But Dak
Prescott has a ceiling.
You keep talking about Josh Allen and Daniel Jones like they the same.
Those
two things are not the same.
I just gave you the numbers. He threw for 3,027 and Josh Allen threw for 3,089. Yeah. Is that not almost the same? They're the same size, same skill set, big arms, athletic.
But you did not bring up the most important part of this. This is just common sense, but common sense ain't common.
Common sense ain't common.
And that's the mindset, right? He threw 10 interceptions, 11 touchdowns. You know why the New York Giants won a lot of their games? It wasn't because of Daniel Jones. It was because of their defense. It was because of their defense. I know that, but the games that they did win, Ryan, it was because of their defense.
Consider
it was times when it
personnel.
mattered the most. Let me ask you this, Bart. When it comes down, because y'all used to play football and y'all used to work on this, right? Y'all work on the 2-minute drill at practice, and you watch the 2-minute drill in the game. When it matters the most, whose hands would you put the pigskin in? Would you put it in Daniel Jones if you're offensive coordinator, or you putting it in Dak Prescott hands?
Let me tell you something. After this season, it's going to be a consensus answer that it's going to be Daniel Jones. Listen, when you sitting back there and you got a left tackle that you get hit in the back of the head, you can't burp the baby. Dak Prescott sitting there burping the baby. It don't take that long to have to go through your progressions when you got the best offensive line in all the game. This dude had the worst left tackle, had a horrible offensive line before he even
did not
put his
have
back
that
foot
last year. He did not have that last year.
Danny Johnson has a good offensive line.
All right.
Andrew Thomas got benched. His left tackle got benched. His first rounder got benched. When he has the opportunity to burp the baby,
I'm with you the whole way. Okay. The whole way. It's just the part when you tried to say, because they're the same size and they got the same numbers, that they're going to be the same person. That's
same skill sets.
Yeah,
big arms. That has a huge arm.
But there's much more to a human. You know how cerebral they are. I mean, there's
Danny Dimes is Joe Cool.
Molly,
how
it's called IQ,
Molly. Flip it. Look me in my eyes. I believe in this.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you until that part of it. That was good, guys.
I'm
having a lot of fun. Guys, you're doing a good job, but let's keep it rolling here. If we're talking the GOAT of sports right now, look no further than Tom Brady and LeBron. But if you had to choose just one, who would you pick? That debate just ahead.
Are you ready for the beat? Tom Brady, you are the man. You are the GOAT, the greatest of all time.
This historic 2020 NBA championship belongs to the Los Angeles Lakers. The Lakers conquer the bubble, and banner number 17 will soon hang in the rafters.
Deal, and it's Molly's deal because it's dealer's choice, and I'm the dealer, and I want to know your answers to these 3 questions. Kendrick Perkins, Bart Scott, are we ready to do this? All right, Kendrick, you played 15 seasons in the NBA, Bart, a decade in the NFL. We're going to pitch you guys against each other. We'll see if you defend your league or jump sides. First question, Bart, you're up first. Biggest GOAT in sports right now?
Biggest GOAT in sports right now definitely has to be Tom Brady. I mean, not only has he dominated and won 7 titles, he's done it for 2 organizations. And he's a guy that just turns the organization over immediately. I mean, you can't argue that the hardest, I think it's harder to win and have dynasties in football than it is in basketball because of the roster turnover. It's hard to keep a bunch of players together for a long time. He's done it in so many different ways with different types of rosters. He's did it with defense. He's done it with 2 tight ends. He's done it with receivers. And he's just the GOAT, man. He just goes and instantly they win. And 7 titles is far greater than 4.
Big Perk.
Oh, well, Molly, I'm going with LeBron James, and here it is. We talk about winning different with championships with different organizations. LeBron did just that. He won 1 with Cleveland, 2 with Miami, and 1 with the Lakers, and 3 Finals MVPs. Let alone still doing it at the age that he is, and having to play both sides of the court, offense and defense. You can't sub offense for defense and take LeBron out. He has to play both sides. And then to top it off on the other end, what LeBron James does off the court makes him the most active GOAT to me. What he does in the community is blowing Tom Brady out the water. What he's doing right now is being the first ever athlete that is still playing to reach $1 billion in his career. You know what he's doing right now? He's setting a bar. He's laying out the blueprint of how to brand yourself, how to make the most money possible while you're playing. And right now what LeBron James is doing, in between the lines, outside the lines, this is why he's the GOAT right now. It's not all about what you're doing on the court. It's what you're doing outside of the court. And this is why LBJ is the GOAT.
Hey, Big Perk, you think if football wasn't a cap sport, you don't think Tom Brady winning 7 titles would have far past $1 billion before LeBron James?
I mean, I don't have, this has nothing to do with, listen, this is what I'm trying to tell you. He didn't make $1 billion off of his salary. He made $1 billion off of his brand. He made $1 billion off of being marketable. He made $1 billion off of his investments. By the way, who's part owner of the Boston Red Sox right now. By the way, who has part ownership of a soccer team right now. This is what I'm trying to tell you. He's showing us the blueprint on how to make money outside of basketball.
Can I address something too that Perk's been saying? Because basketball players always use this as an excuse because they say that you only play one side of the ball. Well, that means you have less control. That means you have to be a lot more dominant at what you do, right? And he is playing defense. His defense is keeping his bad defense off the field, right? His defense is putting up points so he can make sure that he has the lead so his defense can play a certain way.
Molly.
You guys always say that we don't play defense.
Molly, I'm glad he bought that. Molly, real quick, I'm glad he brought that up because that was the same reason why I said the Tennessee Titans are going to win the Super Bowl. Thank you for proving that for me, boy, because of their offense.
But then
Go ahead, Molly. Carry on.
Don on the game show.
No, carry on. Carry on, Molly. Don't do that.
Wait, there's one more thing that you said that I'm not going to gloss over, and then we're going to move on. We're not going to address it, but we are going to in the future here. That you said it's easier to have a dynasty in the NBA than it is the NFL.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I believe so because the flexibility that you control, like the NBA players can move themselves around to organizations far easier than football players. We see Aaron Rodgers trying to figure out how to get out. James Harden just put on a couple LBs and they shipped him where he wanted to.
All right, Perk, we got 25 years of professional sports experience right now on the set. If we want to add in, I've been covering sports for 15 years too, so we'll make it 40. Perk, tell me this. We just saw fans going nuts in the Deer District in Milwaukee. Who has the best playoff atmosphere all of sports?
You know what? I got to go with the New York Knicks. Let's not forget what we witnessed in the first round. Let's not forget that atmosphere in Madison Square Garden when Ice Trae had to silence the crowd. Look, if you're an opponent and you're going to Madison Square Garden and you have those Knicks fans who have no filter whatsoever, they had fans also. It might not have been 60,000, but it probably was 20,000 that was outside the arena. Madison Square Garden was rocking. It's great for basketball in general. We heard guys like LeBron James speak on it. We heard guys around the NBA speak on it saying that it's great to have New York basketball, the Knicks basketball back. And this is why.
Bart?
For me, it has to be Pittsburgh. The Pittsburgh Steelers have the best atmosphere. I mean, anybody that's ever played there during the regular season, let alone the playoffs, when you get to the third quarter, it's something that they do. It's a little man that comes out and he's dragging some piece of steel, and they play sticks. And I've watched many of my quarterbacks poop their pants in the third quarter, and I'm like, just punt the damn ball. I watched Ryan Clark hit Riddis McGahee so hard after that damn song came on that they both knocked each other out, man. I tell you what, these kids are crazy. Pittsburgh is the only place that I've ever been mooned by a 70-year-old grandma. Looked like a California raisin, that wrinkled.
Wait. What? You got
when you drive to the stadium, you drive by a 7-Eleven, and this lady had to be about 70 years old, man, and she mooned me. I thought I was looking at a California raisin. Yeah, listen, it haunts me to this day, Perk. It haunts me to this day.
The terrible towel. Wow, I thought that's where you were going. You just took it up a notch. Okay, this is Molly's deal, so you're declared winner just for that answer alone. My goodness. And Big Perk, I'm with you, though. I would love to see the Knicks really back in it, though, because that atmosphere is something special. Okay, guys, next one. More improbable win. Perk, you're up first. the Milwaukee Bucks and Tom and his age and coming back and all that stuff, or, the Tampa Bay Bucks or the Milwaukee Bucks? And what Giannis had to go through and not being a super team.
I get that, but Giannis also had a lot of luck. Injuries played a huge factor, and we watched Kevin Durant, just because he wears size 21, right, a big toe away from sending them home with a 25% healthy James Harden and Kyrie Irving not available, and Joe Harris shooting the ball off the side of the glass. And we watched Trae Young get injured. So I'm not knocking the Milwaukee Bucks, but I'm going with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, right? They bringing back their whole team, right? They got Tom Brady, who is the GOAT of that sport, who's not going nowhere anytime soon. One of the most ultimate, if not ultimate competitors in the history of sports, that has it on his mind to continue to win. One of the greatest leaders of all time. I'm going with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. If I think when it comes down to them winning the title or the Milwaukee Bucks winning their next title, I'm going with the Buccaneers.
So you're saying most improbable. Who win was more improbable, right? So I have to go with the Milwaukee Bucks, right? Because they didn't have the greatest quarterback of all time there. They had a star, a young star in Giannis, who had been unproven, who had yet to break through. And the fact that we've watched him evolve during these playoffs, it was said that he couldn't shoot free throws. Well, he made his free throws 17-19 when they were needed. We said that, hey, he didn't have any basketball acumen. He was a guy that was an athlete playing basketball, and he evolved during this series, right? We watched him start to become a facilitator, find the open man, not just try and use his athleticism to run through somebody or run around. He put this team on his back when everybody else was struggling. So I think the Milwaukee Bucks beating Chris Paul, who, we didn't even know if Giannis was going to be able to play, right? And then we looking at Chris Paul and the Phoenix Suns, who were the favorite, and this was the upset. I don't know how big of an upset Tampa beating Kansas City without their two tackles was a big enough upset. Without the two tackles.
They had Patrick Mahomes. They had Patrick Mahomes. And look, when you talk about the Phoenix Suns, I'm not knocking either one of those teams that made it to the NBA championship, but this is the most luck that I've seen for two NBA teams coming out of the East and Western Conference. Like, it was so many injuries, but it was 9 to 10 all-star caliber players.
Hold up. All right, we're out of time for Molly's deal, but I need to give you a chance to rebuttal to that earlier question I found very interesting. So, Perk, floor is yours. Last word here. Tell me, is it easier to have a dynasty in the NBA than the NFL?
You know what? I'm going to say this, right?
Okay.
The NBA, it is easier to have a dynasty. You know why? Because the NBA has a better players association. Right? They have a better players association. The Players Association and Adam Silver, who's the best commissioner in sports, is a players commissioner, and they're on the same page. So it's more of a players league. You look at the NFL, that's not the case. They're so far apart that it's insane. That's why I'm going to say it's easy to have a dynasty in the NBA, because now players are in control of their own destiny.
All right, fair enough. Now we can carry on. All right, show me the money. College athletes getting paid. But is this a good or bad thing for college sports? Ryan Clark back for that debate. Stay here, First Take. Since the passing of legislation allowing amateur athletes to profit off of their name, image, and likeness, we've seen a number of college athletes signing big money endorsement deals, including high school basketball prospect Mikey Williams, who signed a deal with Excel that is expected to generate millions for the student athlete. RC, do you like, love, or hate these big paydays for amateur athletes?
I absolutely love it. I mean, because not everybody gets an opportunity to make it to the pros. And even some of these kids that you see, like a Mikey Williams or Bryce, who's now going to be the starting quarterback for the Alabama Crimson Tide, it's not guaranteed that they get to the NBA. It's not guaranteed that they make it to the NFL or that they're first-round picks. And so if they have an opportunity to profit right now, to change their family circumstances, their circumstances right now, then why not? Especially if they're going to be separate entities or entities that they play under that make money using them, that make money using their likeness, that make money selling tickets because people are coming to see their talents. And so to me, this was a great decision by the NCAA or by the government that forced the NCAA into this. If you're a guy like Mikey Williams, who has a million Instagram followers, who is one of the most highly sought after social media high school athletes in the world, and you can use this to have an opportunity to put money in your pocket, to put money in your bank account, then absolutely you should do it. Tomorrow is not guaranteed. All these athletes have this today. They're blown out knees, they're bad situations, they're terrible circumstances. And so to see some of these young men have an opportunity to capitalize, there is no way as a former student athlete that I would ever say this is a bad thing.
No, it's a great thing, and I love the situation for the simple fact that now it's not only just making money to put in your account for now, but some of these guys are going to make life-changing money, right? That, like, you know, this is the problem that I have with guys not being able to come out of high school no more, right? You're able to start jobs. You're able to start working at the age of 16. Why do you have to go through a certain step of process if you're ready to go start a job? But here it is. I'm just upset. I'm highly upset that I was born too early, because I was one of those highly recruits, and I went to Mikey Williams games before. My sons play AAU right now, and they don't look up to LeBron James. They don't look up to Kevin Durant. They don't look up to Russell Westbrook. They look up to Mikey Williams. When I went to his game, it was so crazy to see how kids from the age of 9 through 16 were acting like this is their hero. So to watch this happen and for the landscape to change and for these guys to get paid is a tremendous thing to see, because I was in those trenches. I was part of the Texas basketball when me and Chris Bosh went head to head at the University of Texas, still to this day hold a record for the biggest crowd ever in UIL history, and we didn't get a dime. And I know they made a whole lot of money off of us, and me and Chris Bosh were the top 2 recruits in the state of Texas at the time. So to watch this happen right before our eyes I'm happy for Mikey Williams and all the kids that are coming too. As soon as we get off of air, I'm going to train with my kids to make sure that they're going to be ready to make the life-changing money, so I don't have to
Double sessions, triple sessions. First, get them out there. Get your Gatorade ready.
Yeah, whether it's Bryce Young or Mikey Williams, or if it's a kid that has an opportunity to set up a situation where he has relationships if he doesn't make it to the league. So many of these kids, and so many of this has been focused on money, but it also should be focused on opportunity. It also should be focused on putting yourself in conversations with the correct people in the right rooms in order to further yourself as you grow, right? To give you other opportunities at careers. I have a son who is in college now, who I can be honest, he doesn't necessarily need to go out and try to make the most money he can make. So his mom and we all sat down and I said, what do you want to do when football ends? And those are the relationships you should be seeking. Those are the relationships that should be important to you. Those are the calls. Those are the emails. Those are the conversations that you should be having. And so is it not absolutely excellent that these guys can make money, right? And like in Mikey Williams' situation, life-changing money? Absolutely. But it is now giving athletes the opportunity to kind of recoup some of the things they miss when they're doing the athlete part of the student thing. Because while they're at practice, while they're traveling for games, these other people are having opportunities. These other people are having opportunities to start their careers.
Absolutely. Co-sign everything you guys are saying right there. We'll keep it rolling here, guys. Before we say goodbye, we got some more NFL to get into. There are many amazing offenses around the league. So why do the guys have such a problem with the top 10 offensive weapons list? Those answers are ahead. Bart will be back. And we got some Olympics news. Stay here. Offensive lines or the schemes that the players play in. The question was simply who has the most talented group. The defending champion Buccaneers sit atop the list, followed by the Cowboys, Perks Titans, the Browns, and the Vikings. So certainly lots of talent on those squads. But what's your biggest issue with this list? Bart, you're up first.
Well, for me, I'm going to be consistent. I'm not going to flip-flop like Perkins. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to stay consistent with my Danny Dimes. And I'm going to go with the position group of the New York Football Giants. And it's not always about the one guy who has the best player. It's about who has the most complementary pieces and how they play as a whole. The whole is greater than the sum of its parts. You look at Kyle Rudolph. Now that allows Evan Ingram to be able to just be a receiving tight end, don't have to do any of the heavy lifting. You got Saquon Barkley, who's motivated by the greatest motivating factor in all of sports, money. As he's coming up for a contract, they're going to have to make a decision on him. And you talk about Kadarius Toney, somebody who's, I think, was underrated with his value and his ability to play the modern game of football within the slot and be a gadget guy. Reminds me of a bit of a Percy Harvin. And then you look up there, you got Sterling Shepard, who's the most consistent guy going on. And then you have Darius Slayton, who can be able to stretch the field. So it's about the complement pieces and how they work together as a whole, not the sum of his parts. I think they should have been a little bit higher, Ryan. And I see Perk with the gas face already. Tell me what you feel.
Are you a former Jet or a former Giant?
Solid argument. I have nothing. Perk, you can go.
Well, he just Bart just set up there and wastes at least 45 seconds of our time, and he could have nipped it in the bud from the jump. He could have nipped it in the bud from the jump because it's obviously the Chiefs, and for the Chiefs not to be in the top 5 is crazy to me because we're talking about Patrick Mahomes, who's offense in itself, right? He is offense. And then you go to Travis Kelce, one of the best tight ends in the game today, and then you want to talk about this guy right here, Cheetah, right? This man here, would you have to put 5 or 6 people on this man? Like, what are we talking about right now? When it comes down to offensive weapons, what else can really compete with that besides the Titans? This team should be in the top 5 list. Whoever made this list needs to be drug tested. Needs to be drug tested.
We're going to start with you, Perk. Stay off the weed, man.
Guys, here's the thing. There's only one true answer here, and I'm not being a homer, but it's the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now, first off,
you've been a homer. Yeah, you are. Yeah, you are.
Guys, nope. Because, see, I was with you. I was where you were yesterday, Perk, but you got bad information because quarterbacks are actually not included in this. If the quarterbacks were included, Kansas City's at the top, and there's no question. So now we're going to thank Deontay Johnson. We're going to thank Chase Claypool, obviously Juju Smith-Schuster, and you add Najee Harris to that. And you got that team at 13. That's crazy. You got them under so they're under Minnesota and they're under Buffalo. I think there are some teams when you look at the totality of the skill players that this team has that they are above. This is a top 10 team as far as the skill set goes of those positional players. And I think we'll see that as the year plays out. They'll have a better running game. They'll push the ball down the field better. And if last year Deontay Johnson doesn't have those drops, we are talking about him as one of the best or one of the top receivers in this league, very much like Santonio Holmes. And so, Perk, you are not wrong. Bart, you are not wrong. I'm just more right than both of you.
Well, I beg to differ.
No, actually, you're just more of a homer. You're just more of a homer, and I get it. After the show, you and Mike Tomlin are going to FaceTime, and he's going to tell you thank you for standing up for me. I get all that, but we're not about to sit up here and downplay. Even if you take Patrick Mahomes out of it, we're not about to sit up here and downplay like Travis Kelce and the Cheetah is not a serious problem out there. Cool. You talk about weapons. Tell me what other weapons are better than that duo. Tell me 2 other weapons at the receiver corps.
You've been saying Julio Jones. You've been saying Julio Jones and AJ Brown.
The Browns.
Relax, I'm talking.
Guys, the Browns got a lot of talent. If we're just going to just go pure offense, the Cleveland Browns got a lot of talent on paper as well. All right, let's keep it moving, though. One of the biggest questions, obviously, we all talk about at the beginning of every NFL season is how will the rookie QBs look? So this year's draft, we saw Trevor Lawrence go first to the Jags, Zach Wilson second to the Jets, Trey Lance third to the Niners, Justin Fields selected by the Bears 10th, Mac Jones to the New England Patriots. So all these guys obviously are in very different situations. Some will sit, some will start right away, all that good stuff. Name a rookie quarterback that you cannot wait to watch in 2021, Kendrick Perkins.
Oh, I couldn't wait on this, Molly. I'm going with my guy, the guy I used to stay up late to watch in college at BYU, Zach Wilson. This guy is a straight-out stud. He threw for over 3,600 yards last year in college, 33 touchdowns, only 3 interceptions, and guess what? 70% of the time, he was on money. And when it comes down to him being able to scramble out the pocket and make passes downfield, he has the deep ball. He can scramble for yards. He's fast as hell. Look, Zach Wilson is must-see TV. This is the player to watch.
I don't know. He hasn't played in that pressure cooker, which is New York. That's why I didn't pick him. I'm going Justin Fields because when you think about he's going to a playoff team, he's going to probably be a guy that's going to play, that's going to work his way into the starting lineup. He's protected by a great defense, but he has that element that you were talking about, right? He got that shake and bake. You talk about a guy that's stout. Talk about a guy that can make plays off schedule outside of the field. He can stretch the field, be able to throw the ball downfield accurately. He's played big-time football at a big-time university, man. So Justin Fields is definitely my guy. I'm excited to watch.
I'm a Justin Fields guy too, but I'm looking at Trey Lance. Why? Because of Kyle Shanahan and Deebo Samuel and Brandon Ayuk and Kittle. Right? You have all of these pieces around you, a great run game, a great coach. You have a defense that'll be better because they'll be healthy. And you have a dude in Trey Lance. We moved up to number 3, not because they necessarily knew who they wanted, but because they knew they didn't want Jimmy G. So this man is going to play sooner than later. And everything you hear about him is he's not only talented, but he is brilliant. I can't wait to see how San Francisco 49ers and Kyle Shanahan utilize Trey Lance throughout this season.
That's fair. All right. No one's going with Trevor Lawrence. No one cares about the Jags right now.
He's in purgatory. No? He's not.
No,
did Tim Tebow?
To quote Liam Neeson,
we'll catch him in 4 years.
Yeah. To quote Liam Neeson from Taken, good luck.
Okay. All right, guys. Opening ceremonies for the Olympic Games held today. The Olympics will be held without fans in attendance, obviously due to COVID, but we'll still get to watch from home as some of the best athletes in the world compete for Olympic gold. Ryan Clark, if you were in the Olympics, okay, what event would you compete in?
Don't they have like the trampoline? They have the trampoline, right? Trampoline's an event, correct?
There's no trampoline. Wait, hold up. There's no trampoline's not really a thing, is it? You're kidding.
There's trampoline in the Olympics. Listen,
I can't even hit. Why are your neck muscles so flexed? Why do you look so stressed?
Because
and your calves are so your calves are so slim.
Because those are athletic calves, Molly. That is why. And listen, guys, we all know this, right? I for sure can't make the USA basketball team. I can't be no sprinter. I can't long jump. I'm not gonna flip like Simone Biles and them. I'm gonna be honest. I can't really swim like that. I can swim to stay alive and go to the pool party, but I cannot swim to win. So I had to pick something I could do. And I felt like jumping on the trampoline which would allow me to be able to compete with other elite athletes on that level.
You should have went bobsledding. All right, Big Perk, what you got?
I'm not on a Jamaican bobsled team. It's not cool running.
Well, Molly, look, I know right now since I retired, I put on a lot of weight, and I wouldn't be an athlete. I wouldn't be a sprinter. And look, I know, but I would be in the pool. You could put me in the water. You could put me in the water. Put me in the 50 meters and I would eat it up. Just call me a blue whale because a blue whale can get up to the speed of 31 miles per hour in a short period of time. Put me in the swimming pool.
Sink to the bottom. You are going to sink to the bottom.
Oh my God, I'm dead. All right, Bart, where would you go?
I'm crazy with that freestyle.
I might lose a little street cred, but people don't know I played tennis in college as well. So in high school, so I would play badminton. I'd be a gangster badminton player, man. Because I don't have to shake and bake like I used to, but because of the ball, I can be able to redirect because it don't come fast. Badminton, definitely.
Okay.
Oh my gosh. Who put these pictures together,
I went gymnastics because it's my favorite one to watch. And I'd like to get the floor routine.
How does Molly get this elegant picture?
I wish my thighs, first of all, I wish my thighs really looked like that, and I wish my arms were really that toned. So whoever's body that is, thank you. I'd like to work, but I love watching gymnastics. I love seeing the floor routines.
You can do the ribbons. You can do the ribbons like old school.
No, I can't handle that. Not enough coordination for the whole ribbon.
You can tell who won the show the whole time, though. Molly got the best picture of everybody. Kendrick Perkins had like some 14-year-old dude that's him.
I think. Let me see Kendrick's picture one more time.
Yeah.
Let me see it one more time. I just need to see it.
That
Can you
guy's
get it back?
112 pounds. That guy's 112 pounds. Bart's guy competes for China.
Where's Perk's picture? Bring it back up on the screen. Somebody do that for me. They don't
My
have
dude
it?
didn't have no ankles. And then Molly has this like